continue the recording. Welcome to our Chapter Leadership Connect we are Friday, August 12th. I can't believe it's already August. I can't believe it's August 12th. Has been a crazy summer, and I know everybody's getting ready for Girls in Aviation Day too. But the fact that you're here to talk about outreach into your communities and volunteerism and things that you can do with your chapter outside of kind of the normal stuff that we all do is really fun and encouraging. And thank you so much for being here. Of course, this is being recorded and it will be available on our YouTube channel, on the WAI YouTube channel. So if you haven't already, do go ahead, go to YouTube, search for Women in Aviation International, and mash the subscribe button so that you get a notice every time we update it, because there's always new stuff going in there. There's even a special playlist just for chapters and chapter leaders to kind of catch up on all of these chapter leadership seminars. So this morning / afternoon, depending on where you are in the world, we have a really special announcement. I want to take the time to introduce you all to Jessie Rowden, who is the newest member of the WAI group. She is the manager of chapter relations now. Somebody asked her earlier, are you the new Molly? And so yes, indeed, although she's going to be a much, much better version, more responsive and able to focus on helping the chapters grow and thrive, which is really what her whole purpose is going to be in the job. So Jessie comes to us from Qatar Aviation, where for 18 years she was in the FBO management world. Most recently, she was the general manager at the Albuquerque Qatar Aviation facility. She also helped get that chapter started in Albuquerque, and so she's got a lot of experience with not just leadership of a chapter, but also the challenges that everybody faces, the difficulties in forming a chapter, the interpersonal communication challenges that we have, are all of our fantastic opportunities. She's seen the really wonderful side of the chapter network, and her heart really was what spoke to me about her dedication to the WAI mission and to all of you. So at this point, I just want to thank Jessie for joining us, welcome her to the group, and invite you all to reach out to her and get acquainted. You'll have lots of opportunities to talk to her, and this is going to be her webinar. So Jessie, I don't know if there's anything you'd like to say, or if you just want to dive in.
Well, I can just dive in. However, I do want to say, and maybe start with asking for just a bit of grace, because my very first week was Oshkosh. So it was quite the learning opportunity, and we are plugging away, and I'm trying to be as responsive as possible while learning at the same time. So a little bit of grace. I will get right back with you as soon as I have the right answer, and hopefully we will get to running. So I want to welcome everyone today for our our community outreach and volunteerism webinar. And I would love to have as much participation as possible for this. So Molly, am I good to share my screen?
Go for it.
Okay. Let's see. Suddenly I lost the share my screen part.
Okay, so stand by one.
I've got it. Share screen.
Okay, so try it now.
How are we looking?
We don't see your screen. I don't, at least. Stand by for technical difficulties. There we go. Perfect.
All right, now do we have it?
Yep.
All right, perfect. My apologies. All right, so for community engagement, one of the things that we want to talk about is, and that I hear about a lot, is how to get out there and how to get ourselves known and to get some more of those chapter members, and grow our membership and grow within the community. So community outreach and volunteerism outside of aviation is a really great way to handle those things. Being active within your community and volunteering as a chapter encourages your members to participate because you're looking at causes that benefit those things that they care about. It's team building experiences outside of, again, those aviation related things. You're working together to help build a house for humanity. So you're really working on that teamwork and communication and building the strength and bond within your chapter and between your members. And then creating visibility and relationship building within the community. We're constantly looking for sponsorships and those type of things, making sure that you're known within your local community, who you are and what you've been doing. When you are giving to and of others, you tend to get back. So that's one of the things that we would really like to make sure that we're mentioning there. You can get sponsorships just by meeting people out there. Molly always has the make a plan and adding things to your calendar. Make sure that you're polling your chapter members on what causes are meaningful to them. Active participation so that we're not just making those decisions as the leadership team that we're going to go, again, I'm going to use Habitat for Humanity. We're going to go build a house. Not everyone is a carpenter. Not everyone enjoys swinging a hammer. However, they may have great skills in other areas. We may have people who are wonderful at resume writing and can help volunteer in some of the Dress for Success programs that are helping lift women up by getting them interview techniques and resume building, and then getting them those interview outfits as they go out and look for employment in the workplace. Mixing it up. Variety encourages participation and gives opportunities to meet new people. Again, not only meeting new people who are potential members, because you're getting out there, you're talking. We're looking for people outside the community to bring in. Who are going to be those advocates and supporters of the things that we're doing within our world as well. And then advertise, promoting, and engaging. People want to be part of something meaningful, and we need to show them that that's us. We have questions all the time, again, about engagement. How do we engage people? Let's find those things that they truly care about outside of aviation. We all live and breathe aviation, I understand, but we do have lives outside of that. So what is meaningful to them? And how can we reach them on their outside lives as well? A few volunteer ideas and ways to get involved in the community are listed here. And I would love to have some feedback from others if you've got those ideas within your specific community. Homeless shelters, soup kitchens, Christmas toy drives, clothing drives, domestic violence shelters, although I want to put a little asterisk on that. Sometimes those require background checks and training and a little more effort to get into some of these programs that we're mentioning here. Local community center events. So you can volunteer at my local community center they've got a big Halloween thing that they do every year for the kids, and they have a haunted house, and they've got trick-or-treating where the kids go to all the little tables. So you can volunteer to have games and stuff for the kids, and then also do outreach for membership and reaching those children, and then getting your Girls in Aviation Day events out there. Or if you're hosting beyond the September 24th event, inviting them to your chapter meetings. Meeting their parents and seeing if that's something that they would want for their kiddos to get involved with, or the Girls in Aviation Day app. Community cleanup weekends. Again, I mentioned the Dress for Success programs, which I think is a wonderful program. After school tutoring or mentoring. Big Brothers or Big Sisters programs, Boys and Girls Club. Again, great places that you can really glean those older kids, younger kids as well, but older kids sometimes that we're looking for participation in our events as well as our chapters. I know that that's some outreach that we've done here locally and got some great participation from those organizations on a Girls in Aviation Day event that we held back in May in conjunction with another event that was going on. Nursing homes is one that I would really like to put out there. Pre-COVID, one of the things that I was hearing was that folks were really lonely. And I think that that's still the case. I think it's probably even worse now post-COVID. Volunteering to go in and play games or just meet people. You can meet some amazing individuals in those nursing homes and find folks with backgrounds and stories that are shareable, and find people who would be even great speakers at some of your events and some of your meetings. Disaster relief programs. We have some of our chapters that I'm aware of that have gone out and done volunteerism during a post-hurricane events. Obviously, we want all of you to be very, very careful, making sure that you're all safe, but putting together packages for Haiti after they were suffering the earthquakes. Resume writing, interview assistance for job seekers. Animal shelters, one that's close to my heart. Those of you that know me or are going to get to know me, I'm a crazy person. I have 4 dogs. They're all rescues. So I love volunteering at the animal shelters. They have pet food drives. You can go in 1 weekend a month and volunteer to help exercise the dogs and groom them and clean out the pens and make sure that they get some love, because the animal shelters are unfortunately overrun again and needing help. Community beautification projects, going out, finding the parks and planting trees and participating in Arbor Day events. All super fun things, having a tree dedicated to your specific chapter, things to get yourself there. The list goes on and on. I can, angel trees, Habitats for Humanity, community food pantries. The possibilities are absolutely endless. There are also volunteerism opportunities within the aviation industry, of course. We want to make sure that we remind everyone that this cannot be a flying event, but we can volunteer to be ground crew. We can volunteer to be transport, to help people get patients or pets or someone from point A to point B. There are all kinds of great organizations out there that you can pair with and become active and involved with. And again, finding those organizations to pair with oftentimes brings new members, as well as sources for income or sponsorships or fundraising opportunities. The one thing that I would love to make sure that I'm getting as you are presenting or going out to these events and doing your volunteerism, I know that you get an email from Molly every month, maybe 2. Those are going to start coming from me. Make sure that you're sending us photos of your news and making sure that you're telling me about those events. I want to highlight those. I want to make sure that everyone knows the great things that you and your chapter are doing within your communities. There's a PDF on the chapter resource on the website. If you go to chapter resources, there's a tab under there that tells us about taking great photos. If we have photos of the backs of everyone's heads, that's probably not something that we're going to put into the magazine, but your shining, smiling, amazing faces, the things that you're doing, we want to make sure that gets out there to our community. And those are things that you can utilize for yourselves on your Facebook pages and your social media as you're doing outreach to your local networks. This being my first webinar, it is fairly short and sweet. I would love community participation here. So I've got some photos of the wonderful things that y'all have gone out there and done, assisting in orphanages and in some of our African chapters, and toy drives, and mask making during COVID from our Aloha chapter, and medical response training, all of those super important things. So I have no grand finale.
Well, and I think, Jess, you did a great job in outlining the opportunities and some of the things that have been done by chapters already. I know there are lots of people on this webinar that have done events and might have some other ideas. If you've got other ideas, please feel free to jump in. What I do know is, so you guys know that every year about the beginning in the first quarter, we do a survey of chapter leadership, and we say, so why do people join the chapters? And always in the top 3 answers from every single chapter leader tells us that the reason people join the chapters is to give back. And I think you'll find that across the whole WAI membership as well. So for a lot of us, that doesn't mean necessarily writing a check, although writing a check works. But a lot of people, myself included, I want to go out and do good work, right? I want to get into the community. I want to go and I drive Meals on Wheels every now and then. You know, and if I can do that with my tribe, my buddies from the WAI chapter, boy, that's a great team building, great fun event. It enriches your heart and your soul, and you all have fun together. Ashley was just saying that they're going to do some bouquets at a local flower farm. What fun, holy smokes. So that it plays double duty, right? You're doing good, you're giving back, and it's a membership event. It's a social event. It's teamwork and networking, getting to know each other. So that's a big part of the chapter. I know one of the things Jess touched on was the letting us know about it, letting us know about what you're doing. And I bet you guys see in the magazine, I know all of you go and you look, you turn to the page and you see, did my news make it into the magazine, right? And so we submit absolutely everything you give us. But the magazine staff, and Jobali is on board on this call. Actually, she's a new member of the team as well. She's the new associate editor for Aviation for Women and Aviation for Girls. Welcome, Jobs. And and look at how beautiful you are. Gosh, she always puts me to shame. Anyhow, so welcome. But they are, they're picky about what they put in the magazine. They want to make sure the content is high quality, it's well written, and the photography is beautiful. And you guys, when you send in pictures, most of the time it's spectacular. It's one of the favorite things that I do every single month is look at the pictures that you send me. And I'm sort of sad now that I'm not going to get to do that anymore. And Jessie's going to get to do it because it really does feed energy. Because what you do out there is so cool. But if you don't tell me about it, if you don't tell Jessie about it, there's no way for her to then pass it to the magazine staff. So a lot of chapters, or a few chapters actually, not a lot, have somebody on their board whose sole responsibility it is to pass along chapter news. And they do it every month. They don't wait for the email from me or from Jessie. They just send in chapter news every month. And we see a lot of those chapters in the magazine. So please do, put that on your list of your priorities for your board members, is be sure to communicate back with WAI about what you're doing. And you can send in your member news too. Your members are doing some amazing things out there. They're being named to boards, and they're getting awards, and they're getting flight ratings, and they're having kids and getting married, and all of those wonderful things in life that we all want to share in. So let us know about that as well. You'll be getting your next email saying, hey, send us stuff on the 24th of the month. So it's coming right up. So what
So
else?
Ashley just sent a message and it went directly to me, but it says, can members reach out directly to Jessie for help writing an article? Absolutely. I would be more than happy to help you with that. Now, I do want to put an asterisk on that, reminding you that there are 150 plus. So doing that every month might not be feasible. However, I am here to help. And once we get you going and you know what you're looking for and how to do it, you're good to go. It's super easy. It's great information. You have the information. We just put it together and we send it to jobs.
Well, and let me be super clear. So the chapter and membership news are not really articles. We're talking about a couple of sentences, a couple of, maybe a paragraph. If you've had a conference, like some of your chapters actually host an entire conference for your region. If that's what's going on, okay, yeah, you get more than a couple of sentences for sure. And maybe we talk to Jobs and to Kelly Murphy about a bigger article, but for the most part, we're talking about a couple of sentences, a paragraph at most. So really consolidate it into what's newsworthy, right? What is going to be interesting to all 15,000 women in aviation members. So that's going to be the key. So what else have you guys got going on out there? I know some of you have experience with many different chapters over many different areas. Rebecca Burhi, you're out there. I'm picking on you, I'm sorry. But Rebecca was a leader at the Washington State chapter for a long, long time. And she's now in Texas. And we're so lucky that she's in Texas because we get to play with her. And she's part of our chapter. And she just helped start another chapter at the WASP Museum at Sweetwater. So what kind of community outreach stuff have you done in your experience with the chapters?
Good to see you all. I'm like still waking up. I just got back from traveling last night. You know, doing Washington State chapter, we really took advantage of the wine country around us. We used that for a lot of events. And that in turn led to some different volunteers and different things. Like Jessie was saying, you know, one of our current chapter president there is really involved with their dogs and pets. There have been pet events. There have been whale watching events, that type of thing. I'm sorry if you can't hear me well. Maybe it's not very loud.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I put you on the spot too. I snuck up on you. And
I know, that's okay. So, you know, depending on your region, as far as what you're going to do. So now that I'm in Sweetwater and we just did stand up the Adventure Film chapter, which is really exciting. And we're just searching for what are the things that we want to do here. You know, it's a whole different demographic, it's a whole different geographical area. So how do we start? So I think the first thing we're going to do is we're going to zoom in on the local schools and start to connect with the teachers and career counselors and so forth in those high schools and start to build our base off of that. Seems to be the most logical thing to do because it's really spread out. Communities are small, and how do you reach kids? How do you start to build that interest to get the kids and parents? So then we'll start finding, you know, what events do we want to do. One of our chapter officers is a young man who is in the National Guard. He's a tank vet. There's a really cool tank museum in Athletes. We're going to go see the tank museum. So you know, you just got to roll with it, whatever it is. But that it's the energy and enthusiasm. Let's find something. I love the bouquet making. I wish we could do that. That sounds so cool. Type of thing. So yeah, find the cool things in your community, in your area that you didn't even think of. You know, we're all our so many.
thank you so much. Yeah. So if I can sum up, because the connection's a little bit iffy. So really dive into what you have in your community. Really take a look at the opportunities you might have locally. Everybody's going to have something a little different. In Washington State, they had the vineyards to play off of. which offer all kinds of different opportunities, whales, conservation, wildlife, that kind of stuff. In Sweetwater, I'm sure you're going to have a whole different set of opportunities there. Sweetwater, for those of you who don't know, is literally in the middle of nowhere, Texas, which has its own set of wonderful, characteristics about it. And not at the bottom of the list is that WASP Museum, which is amazing, and offers its own volunteer opportunity there. Your local aviation museums are always looking for volunteers and proctors and speakers, and so your chapter could get involved with your local aviation museum, like the WASP Museum. There's 2 in Dallas. I know there's one in Albuquerque. There's several in Washington, D.C. So in your area, you might have some opportunity there. I don't see any other. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was going to mention, you mentioned well, 2 things. You mentioned the museum. So partnering with the museum is huge, because that also offers you the opportunity to bring them in for your events too. We have the Nuclear Science Museum here in Albuquerque, and they've come in and provided some really great hands-on vacuuming the girls into a trash bag, and they loved it. It was the best thing ever. I mean, obviously their heads were out, but teaching them about science and some really fun hands-on stuff with that partnership, because we've been doing stuff in conjunction with them. The other thing that Rebecca mentioned was being in Sweetwater, that the communities are spread farther apart. We also face that challenge here. The chapter encompasses all of New Mexico. So we have members that are sometimes literally 6 to 7 hours apart. And so finding something that is going to engage everyone, and our leadership has been talking about how to do that and how to navigate those challenges. And I think that this forum is a great idea to share those ideas with one another. If I can get you guys to talk, so that we can help one another. One of the things that we've kind of been throwing around is, within the chapter, then creating little regions and then having challenges within those regions and see what they come up with for themselves. I don't know if anyone else has any ideas for making that connection when you've got those members that are flung farther apart than a centralized location, like maybe Dallas or something like that.
And let me also take a moment to introduce the other 2 WAI staff members who are on this call. Another new staff member, Annie Steichler, is our newest person who's jumping into Girls in Aviation Day, Aviation for Girls, and the Aviation for Girls app, the new app that's coming very, very soon. Annie's a educator by background and education, and an artist, and her list of extraordinary character traits goes on and on, but she's our new manager of youth programs. So Annie, I bet, has some ideas for community outreach too that might be available there. And Steph Kenyon is also on the call. You guys met Steph when she did the session on fundraising for chapters. So the WAI staff is very well represented this morning / afternoon / evening, depending on where you are. So you guys jump in, ask questions, let us know how we can help. Africa, you're here. Europe is here. East Coast, West Coast of the United States is here. Let's see. Roth, are you in Hawaii or are you in South Africa? Where are you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I am actually in Florida, and I was kind of holding off on saying something, but one of the things that I think has been really beneficial for us, because I'm part of Embry-Riddle's worldwide virtual chapter, is the virtual chapter has been able to collaborate with other chapters, because a lot of our members are students and faculty members, and we're far flung. We have members all over the world. And I know that we've been able to collaborate with The Embry-Riddle Daytona Beach chapter, we did an event with them. We worked with the Jacksonville chapter. Brittany Dittman put on an awesome Girls in Aviation Day, and we were able, some of our members, to go and help with that. So I don't know how you flush that out, but virtual chapters may be able to assist those that are in the local region. So I don't know how you make that all work, but we've had success to include in South Africa. So I'm stepping in for Linda Whelan. She asked if I would just take some notes and just bring her back up to speed. But I know that she's put in a ton of work too with the South African chapter.
Yep. Yep. Really, really cool. And Melissa, thank you so much, Roth. And so you bring up a really important thing. You guys can work together. The chapters can come together and get to know each other and work on projects together. The 3 Wisconsin chapters actually applied for a grant together and got some funding to hold one giant Girls in Aviation Day a couple of years back. So, you know, getting to know each other is part of the fun, and reaching out, networking, and learning about other ladies in your area. And gentlemen, Roth, not to leave our wonderful gents out. Other aviation groups are also, I wore this shirt specifically to remind myself to mention that we are the group that plays well with everybody, right? So NGPA, the National Gay Pilots Association, the Asian Pilots Association, OBAP, Organization of Black Aviation or Aerospace Professionals. The list is really long. AWAM and Professional Women Controllers. Reach out to these other groups. And the 99s, I bet you have a local 99 chapter in your area that could use some teamwork, camaraderie, and some activity like this too. They'd be welcome, or would welcome the opportunity there. Fadi, hi.
Hi everybody. It's good to reconnect. It's been a whole difficult period with COVID. So we are keeping up and programming the relaunch of Women in Aviation with more strength, because I was very active before COVID, evaluating in an environment which is French speaking. So most of the women, most of the time, it wasn't evident, but we progressed. So we are planning to relaunch our own activities, and we will really want to participate to the Girls in Aviation Day. And apart from being a WAI member, for those who don't know me, I'm founder of the Young African Aviation Professional Association. And we were lucky to win the High Flyer Award of IATA in 2019, the Commonwealth Point of Light Award from Queen Elizabeth, and the recognition from the African Aviation for promoting youth and women in aviation. Because I've been lucky to be in the US, where I actually met Rebecca. That was in one of the Women in Aviation conference in Dallas. It was an investment, so that's why we couldn't come back after that. But I'm happy to see that since I joined Women in Aviation, it's been a lot of outreach activities and people, more and more young girls getting into the sciences, dreaming to be part of this adventure, because, you know, aviation is not common, especially in the Central African region where I come. It's different from, if you see someone from Kenya, South Africa, it's very different. It's Africa, yes, but the development is not the same. So now we are hoping, because we advocate with the government, I had to meet the US Embassy to get some support on having them facilitate the know-how, the best practices. So we learn from most of you. Any chapter that will be willing to support us through webinars, because thanks to COVID now, everyone knows you can go to Zoom on your phone. When there is a conference, these are things which before COVID were not evident. So I'm really happy that we are reconnecting and that we have projects ahead. Feel free if you want to know more about what we will do or what we will be doing. And if you have some information, anything that could help us, some ideas, we will be happy to receive and then share the pictures and the videos with you.
Fadi's from Cameroon, everybody, and I have missed you. I've missed you. It's so nice to see your face, hear your voice. You guys do beautiful things there. I have to say that the photography that comes in from the events all over Africa is the most striking, beautiful photography. India gives us some beautiful photography, but you guys send us the pictures. And you guys are probably all planning Girls in Aviation Day, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let us know about your Girls in Aviation Day. If you have not registered your event, please do so.
Okay.
If you're not on the Facebook private group for the chapter leaders, please let me know. We need to get you invited to that so that you can be a part of that. It's a continuous webinar-like environment where you can ask questions and share ideas and just get out there for best practices. So, and if you've missed something, it's I post the link to the new recordings and everything. So lots of resources out there. Thank you, Fatty. So let's see, Chantel, how you doing out there? And I am picking on you guys. If you're out there and some of you are at work and I'm really putting a crimp in your style here, I know. If you can't talk, no big deal. Just glad you're here with us. But if we have any other questions or ideas.
So I did want to throw out there, we will have some new ideas and maybe harebrained schemes coming out from yours truly. So as you see things like Survey Monkeys or any of that coming toward your chapter, please answer them. It helps me know what you need, what resources that I can get for you, how we can try to build these communities that we're talking about right now. And, you know, also tell your friends that I need their help in responding to those things as well, so that I can make sure that everyone is getting what they need.
Jess, I don't know if you have anything else, but I think we've wrung it all out. I think everybody who can talk has. I don't see, oh, hey, wait, here's a Q&A. What kind of grant did Wisconsin get? It was a national it was a space grant, a NASA space grant. So they have special organizations in each state that you can reach out to. And I'm mangling the name of that. Annie, do you know the name of the, like there's a Nebraska space grant, there's a Wisconsin space grant, all under NASA. That's in the United States. There's probably a California space grant.
Would Steph know? And also we do have a hand under attendees.
You know, no, I'm not familiar with what sort of grant they got. Sorry.
It was definitely a NASA space grant. It was, I think, the NASA Wisconsin space grant. So I would look into your state NASA space grant organization. That's a good source of funding and partnership. And Sherry, did you have a question? Sherry, your hand was up.
There, all right. Press Alt. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. One of the things that Beverly has done here at Detroit City Airport, and since we formed the chapter, we've able to at least have information about the chapter there, is having a Christmas program, and it is a toys collection. She has like 100 kids. What they have is Santa flies in. Well, you know, if it's bad weather, Santa taxis up, but the kids don't know that Santa didn't fly in. And Mrs. Claus comes out of the airplane too. And the first time I was there, I was trying to see Santa get out of the airplane, and I had to stand up on furniture to see over 100 faces that were right next to the window. So that's just a really cute thing, is to promote it as something where Santa flies in, or you know, whatever you can get away with. The kids didn't know he didn't fly in, but they taxied him up in a plane, in a small plane, right to their window. So that's just a really cute twist.
That's fun. Yep. Yep, for sure. Thank you for sharing, Sherry. Oh, here comes the baby again. Thank you, Melissa, for sharing the baby. I think that's it.
Bedtime, so he's saying good night.
Oh, good night, and good night to the Scandinavia chapter and Sweden and Africa and East Coast, West Coast of the United States. You guys all stay happy, stay healthy, and reach out if we can be of assistance. I put Jessie's new contact information in the chat. It's J Rowden, ROWDEN at WAI.org. And I think you guys are going to love working with her. It's going to be a lot of fun. Well, I'll keep having a lot of fun together. Stay happy and healthy and safe. Thank you. Thanks for your time.